Life is a perpetually shifting, enigmatic balance, and this permeates everything you do. It's all about finding a balance between extremes and finding a balance between activities and finding a balance with priorities. That's what so much of life is about. And the perfect metaphor for this, or the perfect microcosm for this is cleaning. All right. So on one side of the spectrum, you have people that are very, very neurotic. Like they have to fold their sheets with certain corners or something like that. So they make their lives difficult by doing completely unnecessary things, by spending so much of their little time on this planet focusing on such trivialities such as which way they're folding corners on sheets or things like that. And then you have the other side of the spectrum, which is people that are complete slobs. People that have stuff laying around everywhere, dirty dishes piled up in the sink, and just stuff that's in their way constantly and that's creating messes and things like that. So on both extremes, you are hindering your life. You are hindering all other things in your life on both extremes. If you're neurotic and focusing on such minutia, all that asinine stuff of like folding things and, that we all know neurotic people like that. If you're spending so much time focusing on that, what are you here on earth doing? You're a unique being that's never been here before, never been here again, and you're focusing so much of your life energy on that stuff. Come on, that's useless. Like, do something creative, be nice to someone around you. There's way better and more fulfilling and happier things to do with your life than focusing on that asinine minutia. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you're obviously creating more difficulties for yourself if you're, a slob and you leave everything dirty, because that's compromising your home. It's compromising your space, because if you have too many things in your space, that disorganization, it affects your psyche. And that's what like feng shui is all about. You arrange things in a certain way, and also you incorporate minimalism, because if you have too many things around, it creates a chaotic environment because everything emits energy. So if you're a slob, you're hindering yourself that way too. But it's just the other side of the spectrum. So with cleaning, you have to find a balance, and it's going to be unique for each individual. Like me, for example, I'm relatively clean in terms of being a guy in his 20s. But if you look across the spectrum of humanity, I'm more on the sloppy side of the spectrum. Not too far, but slightly, But most guys, especially young guys, are complete slobs. And that tends to hinder people. And so my balance is slightly on the letting things get more messy, but I'm such a minimalist that I don't even have that many things to create a mess. So that's my trick. If you don't have that much stuff, how much mess can you make? So it's really all about finding that balance. Where is that point for you on the spectrum where, it's clean enough, but not interrupting your happiness? Or at what point can you let things slide enough that, at what point do you let things slide where it starts to hinder your happiness too? So we all have that Goldilocks zone that's going to be unique for everyone. But I'm telling you, no one's going to be happy being completely neurotic, and no one's going to be happy being a complete slob. So it's all about finding that middle ground. And the thing with balance regarding anything is you have to, not have to, but in most cases we hit the extremes in order to find the balance. So you might fluctuate more on the neurotic side and be like, no, that's not to my highest benefit. And then you might fluctuate more towards the sloppy side, and you'd be like, no, that's not to my highest benefit either. So you're constantly shifting, and it's like a bowling ball hitting the bumpers until it finds that straight path. Or it's like finding a balance on a skateboard. You might teeter and wobble, before you start going straight. So you really, with a lot of things, you have to explore the extremes in order to find that balance. And then once you get used to what that balance is for you, then you can, move forward with full force in life. So that cleaning analogy, it applies to everything in life. Whether you want to apply it to how hard you work, or alcohol consumption, or working out and fitness and your general health. You could apply it everywhere. It's a great microcosm. It's a great analogy. It's a great metaphor that applies everywhere. So find that balance for you regarding everything. You might have to hit the extremes to do so, but find that balance to help you leverage and maximize your life. All right? Peace, peace. Much love and one love, baby.